This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Tuesday, the 11th day of October in the year 2022. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here's what we're tracking tonight. The Caribbean Court of Justice will hand down its judgment next Wednesday on whether the decision of Chief Justice Roxanne George to dismiss election petition case 99 for late service on one of the respondents was constitutional. Back in July, the CCJ heard arguments about whether the Guyana Court of Appeal has the jurisdiction to hear and determine the appeal that was filed to challenge the dismissal of the petition case. The Court of Appeal had ruled that it can entertain the appeal filed by the petitioners. At the heart of the court case, which the CCJ is set to rule on, is whether the Chief Justice indeed has the authority to dismiss an election petition case on procedural grounds without a right of appeal. During arguments before the CCJ, Attorney General Anil Nandlal argued that there is nothing in record which gives the Court of Appeal the right to hear or determine the matter, which was dismissed by the High Court. He submitted to the court that there are provisions in the Constitution for an appeal, but only if the substantive matter was determined by the High Court and the applicants were dissatisfied with the ruling. In the event where the petition was not heard and was dismissed on technicalities, Nandlal argued further that the case should have ended at that instance. But counsel for the opposition, Senior Counsel John Jeremy, disagreed with the submission of the Attorney General. And he argued that the Chancellor and Appellate Judge Justice Dawn Gregory were in order when they found that the Court of Appeal has jurisdiction to hear and determine the case. He explained that while there may be no explicit provisions for the appeal court, there are provisions that guide how the court treats such matters. In January, Acting Chancellor Justice Janet Cummings Edwards had granted a motion filed by Mr. Nandlal and Mr. Jagdeo for leave to appeal the court's decision of December 21, 2021. The judge had also granted a stay of the appeals court judgment. By way of a majority ruling, the appeal court ruled that it has jurisdiction to entertain the appeal challenging Justice George's decision to dismiss the petition on the grounds of late service, non-service, or improper service. More news coming up in just a moment.
Man, I've been getting this feeling lately. I don't know where it's coming from. I got this itch to win and win big, and I got to scratch it. Activate, scratch, win big with GTT's Blazing Hot Summer Promotion, which runs from July 1st to September 30th. Activate a data plan or bundle and receive a link to your digital scratch card every Saturday. Tap the link, scratch, and you can be a winner of one of our amazing prizes of electric bikes, TVs, laptops, tablets, food vouchers, and so much more. It's gonna be a blazing hot summer with GTT's Scratch and Win promotion.
Office Max, we're all about customer satisfaction. Whether it's clothing and shoes for the ladies, gents, and kids, or for the latest electronics or hardware appliance, we're always thinking of satisfying you, our dear customers. Now you can shop online at www.giftlandofficemax.com or visit us at the Giftland Mall, where we're happy to serve each and every one of you.
Get in the game with Buster. Win a full gaming setup, Xbox X, gaming chair, gaming speaker and headset, or any of over 360 weekly prizes like Oculus Quest 2, Mini 2 drone, Nintendo Switch, and many more top gaming prizes. Check below for details.
A former employee of Kaichur News has been arrested as investigations continue into the multi-million-dollar early morning robbery at the offices of the newspaper company. The entire incident was captured on security cameras, and the main suspect, Ryan Wharton, who was arrested, was identified based on the video recordings. He has since reportedly admitted to the crime and has implicated a number of other persons. The robbery occurred just after 1 o'clock on Monday morning while there was just late staff on duty. In the video recording of the incident, one of the bandits is seen entering the main door and immediately holding the security guard at gunpoint, forcing him into the building where the other employees were located. Another bandit later joined the main suspect, and the two could later be seen fetching out the money safe, which was taken from the upper flat of the building. Sources at Kaichur News said although the men were masked, it was clear that the main suspect knew his way around the building. He was arrested late on Monday.
My cameras caught an ex-employee that used to work with me, red-handed, and later we are told that he confessed and told the police that one of the internal security that worked the night, they planned it. And they carried out the break-in, stick-up, and with the safe, in which they take a significant amount of money because it was the weekend, and bank don't work on the weekend.
By today, investigators recovered more than $6 million from the loot. Leader of the People's National Congress Reform Opposition leader Aubrey Norton has urged the members of his party's youth arm to take up the mantle and lead the charge against anything that they may deem as injustice in the society. Mr. Norton made the remarks as he delivered the feature address at a symposium organized by the party's youth and student movement over the weekend. He told the GYSM members that politics, for the most part, could determine whether young people succeed or not, and therefore they should show more interest in the country's political affairs.
The task is yours to mobilize and organize young people to be able to confront the discrimination and inequalities in this society. But to do that, you have to become effective leaders. Leadership demands that you have a vision.
Mr. Norton also told the party's youths that they should not be distracted by propaganda and should also not fall in love with a culture of handouts.
You have to pursue leadership. You have to become young leaders. Some of you here have already been trained as young leaders. We'll intensify that training. You need to be mobilizers and organizers. It is your task to mobilize and organize young people in support of the People's National Congress reform and the coalition government.
He said the coalition's record on youth development speaks for itself, and he's happy to see the PPP taking up some of the initiatives left behind by the coalition government.
They have no interest in the genuine development of our young people. But we can say as a coalition, we showed interest and developed programs for our young people.
According to the opposition leader, his party has always placed focus on education and has encouraged youths to equip themselves academically, since it is one of the best avenues to prosperity. Let's tell you now that a loan for the reconstruction of the Soesdijk-Linden Highway has been approved, according to President Irfaan Ali. He made the announcement during an impromptu visit to Linden on Monday.
Very shortly we'll start the Linden-Soesdijk Highway, the repaving of that entire highway. We just built a number of houses for young professionals, nurses, doctors. We'll continue to expand the housing program, building 1,000 homes. Nothing new. In the 5 years we were out in housing here, it's just the truth. I'm here to just tell the people the truth. To listen to the people and tell them the truth.
The government had earlier applied to the Islamic Development Bank for a $120 million loan to execute the project. It appears as though that loan has been approved. According to the Department of Public Information, the government, through the Ministry of Public Works, is now looking to pre-qualify contractors and their firms for the reconstruction of the 72.43-kilometer two-lane single carriageway highway. An advertisement to that effect has been published in local newspapers. DPI said the scope of the work entails milling of existing asphalt surface course, application of varying pavement structures above the mill sections of pavement inclusive of asphalt, sand asphalt, and sub-base, full depth pavement reconstruction in certain sections, and construction of 2 roundabouts along the alignment, sidewalks, extension to 9 multi-span bridges, drainage work, and utility relocation, as well as installation of roadway lighting. The deadline for the applications for pre-qualification is the 23rd of November. During the visit to Linden, President Ali also spoke about the construction of a new bridge across the Demerara River at Linden and the reconstruction of the Linden-Mabura Road.
And we're doing a lot of infrastructure here in the last 2 years. We're spending a lot of resources. The Linden to Mabura Hill Road has the opportunity to catalyze Linden and open up Linden as the important hub to support hinterland development, to support the mining sector. What we have to do now is to build the capacity and ensure that businesses are built to make use of this infrastructure and this type of investment that we're making.
The President and his team of ministers, which included Minister of Public Works Juan Edgil and the Junior Minister of Public Works Deodat Indar, visited Central Mackenzie, Central Amelius Ward, and a number of other areas in the town. During the engagements, residents of the various communities used the opportunity to raise various issues relating to agriculture and infrastructural development, as well as the need for long-term employment with the President and his team. Well, after almost 3 days of around-the-clock repair works, the Demerara Harbor Bridge reopened to light vehicular traffic last night. While the completed repair works are being monitored, the authorities are only allowing vehicles up to 12 tons in weight to cross the bridge. Heavier vehicles are expected to be given the green light to cross at a later time. The bridge will only begin retractions to allow the passage of vessels in the river from Thursday, according to the management at the bridge. Minister of Public Works Juan Edgil has commended the work of the employees of the bridge and other partners who assisted with the emergency repair works.
The men and women have done an extraordinary job. And I must also say, you men and women of the media, you have also done an extraordinary job in that we were able to face such a major challenge without the panic. You realize there was no panic. You helped us in getting out the correct information. You helped us in getting out timely information. So you of yourselves have done a tremendous job. By no means all of the work that has to be done on the bridge is completed, but sufficient is done to ensure that we could get up to 12 tons moving.
The bridge was deemed inoperable early on Saturday morning when a fuel tanker slammed into it, damaging several parts of the structure. The Guyanese river pilot who was steering the vessel at the time has since been suspended, as an inquiry has been launched into the incident.
counting way from region 1 to region 10, the whole country.
Well, this serves to inform you that I have just completed the census, which is ongoing in 2022. It is my view that a census is important. It will allow us to understand the demographics in Guyana, among other things. And therefore, it is in that context, I think it is opposite that I say to people, be part of the census, ensure you're counted. It will contribute to the kind of data that is needed to do the kinds of analysis and projections in a society like ours. And if properly used, it can contribute to good governance.
Everyone in the country, we counting.
Doors and windows, Republic. Rooms and more, Republic. A brand new rug on the floor. Come to Republic, come to Republic. Whatever you need, you got it. Come through and get your mortgage. Live the dream with Republic.
95 to 100% financing, 50% waiver of negotiation fees, plus one lucky person gets their mortgage paid in full. Turn someday into today. Talk to Republic Bank about your low-cost mortgage today.
7 men from the Quarantine Berbice area have been arrested by the police following a 65-pound marijuana bust at Blackbush Polder, Berbice. A police statement said the marijuana was discovered in several large parcels during an intelligence-led operation in the area on Monday. The 7 suspects were arrested in different parts of the quarantine as the investigations into the bust got underway. Those arrested are in the age range of 22 to 35 years old, according to the police. 3 of the suspects were discovered under a tree with a large quantity of the illegal drug, while the other suspects were nabbed in the same area. All of the suspects have been taken into custody and charges are to be filed against them before the end of this week. The Guyana Police Force and the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit have been closely monitoring the Berbice area for drug trafficking, as a number of large marijuana farms have been unearthed in the past few months in the area. A 30-year-old woman from Golden Grove on the east coast of Demerara remains in custody tonight after she stabbed her 40-year-old reputed husband to death. The dead man was identified as Michael Wilson. The incident occurred at around 8:15 on Monday morning. The woman who has been taken into custody told investigators that she was acting in self-defense and was a victim of domestic abuse at the hands of the now dead man. According to a police statement on Sunday, the woman told her reputed husband that she was ending their relationship and was packing up to move out of their home. Early Monday morning, as she was packing up her belongings, she said she got into an argument with the man, and he armed himself with a knife and slashed her across the arm in an attempt to stop her from moving. The two got into a fight, and the suspect reportedly disarmed the man and stabbed him several times to his abdomen and chest. He collapsed in the house and was taken to the Georgia Hospital, where he passed away while being treated for stab wounds. The suspect was taken into custody, and she told investigators that she was frequently beaten and verbally abused by the man. The Twin Island nation of St. Kitts and Nevis was left in a state of shock following a murder-suicide case involving Guyanese there on Monday. According to reports, Guyanese national Stanford Azor stabbed his ex-girlfriend to death before setting the house ablaze, taking his own life in the inferno. The dead woman's name has been given as Chanel Governor. There are reports that a friend of the dead woman was also attacked by the man before he set the house ablaze. That friend who survived the attack is hospitalized with injuries. Reports out of Nevis indicate that the 2 adult bodies were discovered in the charred remains of the house. The incident took place on Monday afternoon. The couple reportedly shared 2 young children, and the woman had ended a relationship with the man several weeks ago. Reports indicate that there were a number of police complaints filed against him over several threats that he had made against the mother of his children. The investigations are on the way in St. Kitts and Nevis. The young man who allegedly posed as a medical doctor for several months while being part of medical outreaches for various organizations appeared in court this morning and was charged over the impersonation claims. Georgetown resident Mikhail McLennan appeared at the Diamond Magistrates Court and was granted bail in the sum of $80,000 after the charge was read to him. He was represented by attorney Bernard De Silva, who requested that McLennan be subjected to a psychological evaluation. The magistrate agreed with that request and ordered the young man to undergo a psychological evaluation. Back in July, McLennan was called out over his impersonation of a doctor after several questions surfaced when he appeared on social media dressed in scrubs. The young man reportedly appeared at a number of health clinics and outreaches with various organizations where he posed as a doctor. His medical journey came to an abrupt end when the Guyana Cancer Foundation questioned his credentials when he signed up to become one of their volunteers. After it was realized that he was not a medical doctor, the organization quickly distanced itself from him, and the Medical Council of Guyana filed an official complaint against him after the reports surfaced. The young man had first denied that he was posing as a medical doctor, then later claimed that he was a medical student at the University of Guyana. However, the University of Guyana released a statement which indicated that he was never a student at that university. The Medical Council also reported that he was never registered as a medical practitioner, and the Texila Medical University also indicated that he was never a student at that university, after the university's name appeared on his resume. On his social media pages, he posted a number of photos dressed in medical scrubs and in attendance at medical outreaches. One of the men arrested in that 14-pound cocaine and curry bust has pleaded guilty, but his sentencing will take place later this month. Appearing at the Diamond Magistrates Court this morning, 36-year-old Loknath Prasad pleaded guilty to the charge of trafficking cocaine at the Chedi Jagan Airport. Prasad was an outgoing passenger on a New York-bound flight when a search of his suitcases unearthed 2 large bowls of curry with large sealed packets of cocaine in them. He was immediately arrested by Kanu agents at the airport. In court today, the presiding magistrate ordered the man to remain in police custody until his sentencing, which will take place on the 31st of October. After Prasad's arrest at the airport, agents gathered information that led to the arrest of a second suspect in the same case. The second suspect, 43-year-old Manzil Ali, was arrested at his Georgetown home. He appeared at the Georgetown Magistrates Court today and pleaded not guilty to the cocaine trafficking charge. He was remanded to jail until later this month, when the matter will continue.
We counting we from region 1 to region 10, the whole country.
We've just completed our census interview. It's quite a simple process. Whenever the team comes to your home, kindly cooperate and get the interview done, because it's also important for the information to be available to us as a government to plan and implement our programs and projects for the development of Guyana, a development that you will benefit from.
We counting we from region 1 to region 10, the whole country.
Food Max Supermarket, located on the ground floor of the Giftland Mall, is your one-stop shop for all your grocery needs. We stock a variety of imported frozen meat and food products, fresh produce, and pet supplies, freshly made bread. Rotisserie chicken and patties are also available daily. Shop in comfort today at Food Max and let our courteous staff assist you in satisfying your shopping needs. Food Max, the fresh food specialist.
Rooms and more, Republic, a brand new rug on the floor. Come to Republic, come to Republic. Whatever you need, you got it. Come through and get your mortgage. Live the dream with Republic.
95 to 100% financing, 50% waiver of negotiation fees, plus one lucky person gets their mortgage paid in full. Turn some day into today. Talk to Republic Bank about your low-cost mortgage today.
Get in the game with Buster. Win a full gaming setup, Xbox X, gaming chair, gaming speaker and headset, or any of over 60 weekly prizes like Oculus Quest 2, Mini 2 drone, Nintendo Switch, and many more top gaming prizes. Check below for details.
Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up, fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guy Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guy Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Across the region tonight, the number of people killed in Venezuela has risen to more than 35, and 56 others are missing after landslides swept away their homes in one Venezuelan town. About 1,000 emergency personnel are taking part in a search and rescue operation. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has declared 3 days of national mourning. Among those killed are 2 toddlers, local media has said. Earlier reports said 25 people had been killed, but that number has been rising steadily. Torrential rainfall caused the river El Pato to burst its banks, resulting in floodwaters sweeping away trees, cars, houses, and shops in one town, located about 50 kilometers southwest of the capital of Caracas. In Haiti, at least one woman was reportedly killed as protesters clashed with police in Haitian cities on Monday. Police confronted demonstrators as anti-government protests descended into looting. Anger has been boiling over as gang violence has spiraled out of control across Haiti, disrupting shipments of fuel and food. Prime Minister Ariel Henry has asked for foreign assistance, but the call has been criticized by some Haitians who see it as foreign interference. In the capital of Port-au-Prince, protesters erected burning barricades out of tires and threw stones at the police, who in turn fired tear gas. Some protesters proceeded to loot a hotel. Shots were fired and pictures taken at the scene by Reuters photographer showed a bloodied woman lying dead on the ground. One protester told a news agency that she had been shot by the security forces. The Haitian police have not responded to concerns about the incident. And finally tonight, international news. The International Monetary Fund has doubled down criticism of the UK Chancellor's mini-budget days after warning it will fuel rising prices. The IMF, which works to stabilize economic growth, admitted that tax cuts announced by the Chancellor of the UK would boost growth in the short term. But it said the cuts would complicate the fight against soaring prices. It expects high prices to last longer in the UK, with only Slovakia out of the Eurozone set to see higher inflation. Inflation, which measures how the cost of living changes over time, is expected to peak at about 11.3% before the end of the year in the United Kingdom, according to the International Monetary Fund. In each of the next 2 years, it expects price rises will average about 9%, far above the Bank of England's target of 2%. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley, reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.